Philippians 2, 5 through 8 says, "Let this mind be in you, which also was in Christ Jesus, who being in the form of God did not consider it robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation, taking the form of a bondservant and coming in the likeness of men, and being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even death on a cross." So the first thing to notice is that although Jesus was sent by the Father, he still willingly came. It just says, being in the form of God, he did not consider it robbery to be equal with God. Jesus, he could have stayed as God. He could have stayed in heaven forever. Jesus didn't have to come into the world to save us. Although we needed him to, he didn't have to. He didn't need to do that for himself. Jesus willingly did that. He willingly came. The Father sent him, and he willingly went for us because of his great love. And it says he took the form of one of us. Jesus became a human being. We know that's part of the plan. He came into the world as a man, a regular man. He worked a job. He didn't even start his public ministry till he was around 30. So before 30, he was just working. He was living life, right? He had siblings. I'm sure he had friends. He had parents. He was living a normal life for the most part, although he was perfect. And that's the next thing we notice. It says he humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death. So Jesus, he humbled himself in that he went from being God, having the full status of God, to deciding to have the full status of a man, which is pretty low, which is pretty pathetic. Jesus made himself lower. He lowered himself to our level. And he came in, and it says he was obedient to the point of death. That means he was perfect. That means Jesus, he was obedient. What obedient means is Jesus did not sin. He never sinned against anyone. He never broke any of God's commandments, any of God's laws, any of God's rules. He followed them perfectly. And we know why he did this. We know he did it because we couldn't do it. We know he did it because we had failed to follow these rules. So Jesus came to follow them for us and become the perfect sacrifice